Hello everyone in FlossTube land. This is Grandma Nana Stitches on FlossTube and Instagram, and this is my first FlossTube video. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I, 2 years ago, moved from a 1,500 square foot home in the northern part of New York State in the Adirondack Mountains to a little town in central New York called Shortsville. Um, to a 750 square foot home. As you can imagine, this presented a lot of challenges with the amount of stash that I had in craft supplies. Over the years, I've done many different crafts, so trying to thin that down has been a real challenge of not wanting to let things go. Um, One of the things that I have changes that I've made in the past year is I moved my bedroom into a smaller room here in my home and bought a single bed since I live alone with my small dog and moved all of my craft supplies into the bigger of the two rooms. This has helped great deal with the storage. Um, Situation. I still do not have room for everything that I have here. I'm a quilter, so I have quite a bit of fabric, as you can see back here. For quilting projects, I have bins of quilts that are in the process. I haven't done any quilting since I moved, so I'm hoping to get back into that this winter. Um, Finally, I think that I am going to be much happier here than I was in the small room. I felt so closed in there, and with vertical storage, it really was like being in a tunnel. So here it's a much more open space. I have a closet in this room that is a lot bigger than the other one, and eventually I will have a curtain hanging up here so that that's not so visible. I have decided to move a lot of my pillow forms and batting and things like that out to my little storage shed, since that's not something that I will be using on a daily basis. I do have this thing here that my grandson and I made. It is a gutter, and I saw this on Pinterest, which allows me to store all of my ribbon in that tray there, and eventually they will be pulling out these little elbows. This shelf I put up yesterday, and I put this one up also on yesterday. So I'm gradually getting things put away. This blue stand was one that I picked up off of Marketplace, and that holds all of my beads and jewelry supplies, which I probably will be destashing in the near future. I don't see myself making, other than earrings or scissor fobs, I don't see myself making a lot of jewelry. And these, I have two 9 cube cubies here with a butcher block on top to make a cutting table, and then I have storage on both sides for fabric. Plus there's another one over here that holds fabric also, and all of my quilt kits and things like that. So this is a slat board here. I'm just now organizing that, so you see a lot of empty space that won't be there in the near future when I get everything put away that I want to put away. So for my first floss tube, I thought the first thing that I would do is just go over the whips that I'm carrying over into 2023. I've stitched many years ago in the 70s and 80s, as a lot of people did. I did a lot of crewel work, a lot of embroidery, a lot of waste canvas on my little girls' clothes. And then things got different, and they started requiring a lot more time with sports and everything. So the stitching kind of went by the wayside. But back in 2015, 16, when the resurgence started happening with cross stitch, and then really when the pandemic hit in 2020, that was the thing, that I went gung-ho into. My oldest daughter is a cross-stitcher. She started first. She pulled out a whip that she'd had for over 20 years and started working on it, and that led to many other things. And like everything, tastes have changed. I thought I would never stitch samplers. I wasn't interested in samplers. Not going to do it. And I love samplers today. So I've given away some whips. I've repurposed some whips. I've dekitted some whips. I've also taken a couple of whips from my oldest daughter, who decided that she wasn't happy with either the fabric or her color choices, or mostly fabric, I guess. And I took a couple of kits from her. So that being said, I've come into 2023 with 11 whips, all of which I plan to finish hopefully in 2023. I think that's pretty doable. I also have maybe anywhere from 25 to 30 projects kitted up, which is far more than I'll probably ever complete in my lifetime. I just had a birthday on New Year's Eve and I turned 75 years old. So I think I need to realistically reassess what I have and decide what it is that I'm really going to do. I have a niece that stitches prolifically and she's interested in a lot of what I have. So I probably will pass on to her those, and anything that my daughter might be interested in, I'll pass on to her, and let them stitch. So, that being said, I think it's time we begin. My first whip I want to talk about is Parade of Elephants by Liz Matthews. This, I just fell in love with this when it came out. And by coincidence, I just had a great niece born about that time. And they decorated her bedroom with elephants. So, of course, this rang true for a birth announcement. So down in here, I will be putting her name. And in the open flag up here where it says the parade, I'm going to be putting her date of birth and her specifics up there. So, I started this at StitchCon. Oops, I'm sorry. StitchCon 2022. I stitched on it that off and on that whole weekend. It was the beginning of some problems I was having with my eyes. So it became an issue. It's on 28 count cashel linen. This has a little bit of a pink tint to it. And I'm loving it. I just love it. I've gotten some solution with my eyes, so it's been great to stitch on this. I'm really enjoying it. I did outline the elephants so that at some point, if I was with somebody or whatever and talking, I could just fill those in. So I've made a lot of progress on this in the last 2 months. I'm trying to finish it up this month so that I can gift it. So I think I'm making good progress on it, and I don't think it'll take more than a couple of weeks to finish it. I'm in the process now of looking for a alphabet that has both capital and small letters, so that I can use that to put her name in there. Okay, let's see what's up next. Women of the Mayflower. It's with Thy Needle and Thread. I started this, as a lot of people did when it all came out, gung-ho about it. I'm originally from New England. I have history with pilgrims and long people that came early on. And I don't know what happened to my full picture, but that's what I have. This is stitched on 18 count blue Aida from the Volcano Stitcher. And that's all that I managed to get done before I put it down. Like I said, over the last 4 years, I haven't done a lot of stitching. And when I came back from StitchCon, I had completely lost my stitching book. So, and I'm using all the called for colors on that. The next one is called Adjust Your Sails. It's by Little Dove Designs. I started this in 2018. It has a sentiment that rings true to my heart. My husband and I had a sailboat for a few years, traveled Lake Ontario extensively, and this sentiment about it having to adjust your sails is so much more about life and so true with a sailboat. So I don't have much of a start on this. It's 18 count dyed Aida that I did. And I've really just started on the border. There's a question as to whether this fabric might be too dark for this. I don't think the clouds will show up on it. So I'm looking now to replace it with a very light gray. So that is in my rotation, but on hold till I find the right fabric for it. I'm sorry, my fingers are sticky and the pages won't turn in my journal here. The next one is a Halloween, which I don't normally stitch much Halloween. The only two that I really have going is Halloween Quaker, which I'm restarting on 32 count Murky. And then this one, which is Halloween in the Rain. And I will show you the name here because I'm not going to try to pronounce it. I'm using all the called for colors. And this is on a piece of coffee tea dyed 18 count Aida. And I kind of held off because this is a purple, but it's not purpley enough, I don't think, on this fabric. So there again, this one probably will have a fabric replacement fairly soon, because I'd like to have this one done by next Halloween. The next one is Bringing Home the Tree. It's by Lori Holt, and this probably is from around 2018, I would think. So it's So Emma from the Fat Quarter Shop. I don't see a copyright. Oh, 2019. This is done on an 18 count. No, I'm sorry. I think it's a 16 count. It's not opalescent, but it has a silver thread running through it. I think that you'll be able to see. So I'm looking forward to getting back on that. My goal is to finish it by Christmas. It's all called for colors. I love the colors for it. They are such pretty colors. So And the next one is So She Could. It's also a Lori Holt. Probably 20, copyright I'm sure is 2019. And I absolutely love these colors. I'm going to hang it in this room when I get it done. It probably won't be a push to finish this right now, but I've did this on, I believe it's 14 count whitewashed board by Fabric Flair. And I really like this fabric. And again, the colors are so much like Bringing Home the Tree that I just absolutely love all these colors. They're my jam. And the next one is A Year in the Woods. I'm working on the fox. Been working on the fox forever. Like I said, I went through a time where I was having a lot of issues with my eyes with double vision. Got that under control, so I'll be back working on this now that I can. It's a 32 count Timberwolf. And it's a kind of a bluish gray. It's really showing up gray here, but it's more of a bluish gray. And I have all of the pieces for the year, so I hope to eventually have them all done. So, and I'm using all the called for colors for this. Keep zipping my bag shut. Oh, this one is a long dog sampler. I don't know where my picture went for this. Hold, please. Huh. It's Long Dog Sampler, and it's called Seeking Solace. I don't have the picture here. If I can figure out, I will try to insert one. That's all I've got done on it. Back when I first, probably in the 2020 most likely, I saw somebody stitching this and fell in love with it and went on the search. Well, it's a single pattern. It was out of print, but I did find it in a book that I had to purchase in order to get it, and it was, I think I paid around $20 for it, and it's stitched on 18 count Aida and all the called for colors. I put this one down when the pandemic came out because I absolutely love the pandemic, and I'll show you that one. The next one is called His Eye on the Sparrow. This is a great big chart. I absolutely love it. And I was working on this quite long, and then I decided to put all of my time in on pandemic to try to finish it. And we'll talk about that later. This is a 18 count cream Ada, and that's as far as I've gotten on this. My niece that I was talking about earlier is working on this now, and she's pretty much a monogamous stitcher, so she'll be on this piece for quite a while. And it's a great chart. The colors are nice. I like to put all my big projects on 11 by 17 inch frames. That works about the best for me. I have two stands. One is a daylight stand, which I usually keep my big projects on. I have it right by the couch, and I can sit there and slide the stand under the couch and have it close to me. And that works well. And then I have a Lowry stand. Right now has White Winter Santa on it by Mirabilia. The next thing I have is called Deck the Halls. It's a bunch of strawberries that came out, I don't know, a while ago by Blackbird Design. I'm currently working on this one. And these are on various pieces of linen. So this is an even weave. And that's as far as I'd gotten on that one. And I'm pretty sure it's all the called for colors. I have that one. This was the first one I did. And this is on a 32 count mystery linen. This is when my eyes were first starting to get bad. I struggled with this, but I managed to finish it. So after doing that, I switched to Ada. And this is an 18 count Ada that was dyed. And then I think this was, I'm not sure if this was dyed blue or gray, but anyway, that's the swan. I might do some back stitching on this to make the swan stand out a little bit more. And then the last one that I had completed is this one. And I love this. I love houses. So I need to have a finishing day. I have quite a few little finishes that I would like to get put together and put in a dough bowl and move on. So this was the floss that I've been using so far. So pretty colors. And I probably will pick linen to do the rest of them on. I really like the way it looks on the linen much better. This one is called Christmas Rules. This is the one that I took from my daughter. She initially started it on a, I believe it's a 16 count petty point. And she was using the Housewives of Cross Stitch conversion by Priscilla Blaine. And she had all of this done. I just added this over here. But I would like to get this finished by Christmas. So when I finish making my 2023 plans, this will be in the first rotation. I guess I should show you. It's by Silver Creek Samplers. And I just love it. So that'll be on my wish list for Christmas next year. This next one is also, I have a lot on my wish list for Christmas next year, but this one has been really needing to get some work done on it. Just find my picture. This was a monthly series by Fat Quarter Shop. It's by Country Cottage Needleworks. It's called Snow Village, and this is the banner. And it is almost done. My plan is for this, it's all called for stitches on 14 count Aida. I have all of the other houses that go with it. I have a long trench bowl that I would like to put this in at holiday time. I think it'll pretty much fill up the trench bowl between the bigger banner and then all of the little houses. So that's my goal. This next one is also a Christmas one. I couldn't find my printout, but that's what it is. It's by Hands On Design. And right now I'm working on the pillow. I'm not sure that I will do any others this year. It's completed on 14 count Aida. It's either no, I think it's a 14. That's a very, very, I don't know where I got this fabric. It's a very, very flimsy Aida. I love the color, but I'm not real happy with the weave. I'm not sure I'm going to continue or find another piece of fabric. Time will tell on that one. Now, the next one I want to talk about is Pandemic. This was a very big disappointment to me. I mean, I could have absolutely cried when I realized I didn't have enough fabric. I'm sure it's happened to a lot of people out there. This was done with Mrs. Sada's silk, and it's called Oxide. And I fell in love with this. And I think it is absolutely beautiful. But I don't have enough fabric. So I put it aside, put it in timeout. I'm going to bring it back out after I get my Christmas ones going and finish this Elephants on Parade. I have a couple of different options. I have a piece of fabric that that I cut off the bottom of this. Why I did that, I have no idea, but you know, it happens. And I can either, I'm going to stitch it separately, and then I'm going to try to sew it on. If that doesn't work, I'm just going to frame it separately. Anybody have any suggestions out there in Floss Tube Land? I would love to hear it. This is Oxide by Mrs. Sada Silk. This is the first time I'd worked with silks. I absolutely love working with this silk. And the way that it develops on the canvas is absolutely mind-boggling. And my niece stitched it with the same threads, and hers is coming out totally different. It's just the different way of stitching and how you progress on the canvas. So that's in a timeout for right now, until I get some other things started, and then I will put it back on an 11 by 17-inch frame and get moving on that. I think I can have it done by the end of this year. I have some hot chocolate here today. It's very damp and cold here in New York. And I have my one and only winter mug. It's called Sweater Weather. And I'm going to take a little drink. So good. One of the last ones I have, I think it's the last one, is Rustic Cardinals. Now, I started this back in probably 2018, I would think, 2017 or 18. I saw this on Pinterest and then went on a hunt for the pattern. I finally found the pattern and I got it. It works well in Pattern Keeper. I've done it on an 18 count Aida. It's by Linda Murray of the Beaded Bird. This has been a challenge. These colors are all so close, and there's probably about 6 different colors in here, and right down the edge. And my first try starting it, it's my first time starting a full coverage, and I want to tell you, I got so confused as to what color was going where. Even though the symbols were there, it was on Pattern Keeper, it just mind boggled me. So I was talking to my daughter, who does a lot of Hades and full coverage pieces, and she recently saw a woman, I can't remember her name, on FlossTube, who does row by row. And I want to tell you what a difference that made. I've been able to really, I haven't got a lot done on it because I just wanted to get it started. And then I started the Elephants on Parade, so that was my priority. But what I've done is 4 10-inch or 10 stitch squares. Sorry about that, tongue-tied. And as you can see, I haven't completed the bottom of it, but it's what she calls a tower. And it's been so easy to just follow exactly what I need to stitch with. So the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to move left to right. This is the upper left-hand corner, and I'm going to start another 4 tower here. And I'm just going to keep going across methodically. And I think that that's going to alleviate all the disconnect I had with the colors. So, I mean, the symbols are easy to read. I really don't know why I had such an issue. I had quite a bit more done than this initially, but now I'm on the right path and how I want to work it. So, which is a good thing because I've recently ordered a Hade. So I'm loving this piece. I can't wait to get it done and framed and on its way. So I have 3 new starts that I want to start in January. One of them, I'm sure you've seen, this Temperature Tree by Stitching Mommy. The fact that it's all these Quaker just absolutely intrigues me. So I'm going to kit this up later today, and then I'll be able to stitch the first 2 days on it, which most likely will be Sunday stitches for me. My morning stitch on Sunday. I should be able to do the week's worth of days without any trouble at all. So that's one of them. The other one, I had put out I saw this, somebody's floss tube, and I'm sorry, it's been so long now, I don't remember who, but it was a pattern that was out of print. So I went on the Stitchy sites, and I put it out as a unicorn. And a nice lady sent me this pattern. It's by Rosewood Manor. It's a Scottish sampler, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I have a quilt that I'm going to be doing that is very similar to this right here. So I think hanging it in my bedroom with my new quilt will be perfect. So, and when I offered to pay her for it, she said, no, just when you're done with it, pass it on. So my goal is to get that well underway this year. I don't know that I can finish it this year, but I'm certainly going to start it. And I don't know what the called for fabric. Let me look. 28 count cashel helix. So I may very well see if that's still available. I do have in here 25 count Jobelin that I had gotten from a stash unload that I had purchased in a state, and it had a huge piece of this. It's a 20 by 55 piece of Jobelin. I've never stitched on Jobelin, but I'm thinking that that may be, and I ordered the sulky threads to go with it as called for, because there's nothing about it that I don't absolutely love. So that's another start. And I have one other one on my Lowry stand right now. It's not started, it's just on the frame and on there. Oops. Oh, and I also got a needle minder to go with it. So I just love that. And I bought an Ireland bag to put it in. Can't remember where that came from, but it's a beautiful bag. This one is a Mirabilia. It's winter. What is this called? Winter White Santa. And I just love it. I want to get this started. So I probably will be putting a few stitches in this in the next week. I'm going to be doing a center start. And there is a lot of beads in this piece. Lots of beads. So, and my flosses. I had this kitted up at Hobby House, which is a L&S near me in Perrington, New York. It's about 15 miles from me. Very dangerous to have one that close. But I think that this is going to be really good. And it's on a 16 count Silver Mist Ada. 16 count, which was the call for. So that'll be going out by my Lowry, which is next to my new stitchy chair that I just purchased. I went over to Habitat for Humanity to drop off some totes that I had full of stuff I was giving away, and they had just gotten in this beautiful white armless chair, straight back chair, which I love to stitch in a straight back chair. So that is that. This is a piece of fabric that I just found the other day. This is also from Volcano Stitcher. And this is a gray 18 count Ada. And I had started Halloween Quaker on it, my little tiny start down here. But I'm going to revert back to the murky now that my eyes are better. I think it'll work out much better on there. The other thing I did is I purchased a Hade. I've had this thing about Beauty and the Beast lately. It's just been, the storyline, the whole thing has just been amazing to me, and it caught my eye. I ordered the Hade. I have almost all the flosses pulled. I am going to Hobby House probably in the next week or so to get some fabric for it. And then I probably will be starting this in February. I just love it. I think it'll be a lot of fun to work on. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know if I mentioned it at the beginning of this, but I'm also a knitter and a crocheter. I do a lot of different kind of crafts. I made, a few years ago, I made woodland Christmas stockings that I just made them because I needed something to do and they're fun to knit. So I thought I would show you a couple of projects that I have in the works. The first one is actually a comedy. My granddaughter saw these pictured and she fell in love with them. So I said, okay, I can make you a pair. Well, I got one done, and we're talking probably 10 years. And I got down to the heel flap on the second one, and my thumbs gave out. I had to have injections in them because they locked down on me and I couldn't knit at all. So I'm picking these back up. They'll be about 10 years late, but I hope to finish them. I don't think she'll wear them, but maybe she will. But I'm finishing them now as just because it's been a family talk about Grandma and her socks for Ashley. So I'm down to the heel flap. I think the heel flap might be almost done to figure out where I was. And then these are going to get finished soon. And the only other thing I'm continually working on is an Afghan that I started when I went to Florida a couple of years ago. I ordered the yarn before I went. It was 2019. Well, it was 2020 when we went down. Pandemic was just started rolling in shortly after we got there. And I had purchased this yarn online and waited patiently for it to arrive down there. So that's the way it is. I just love it. And there's really no rhyme or reason to the striping. I do it till I feel like changing. So it's probably a good, it's over a halfway done. So I'll probably just continue to work on it until I run out of the yarn. So that's my nightly project when my eyes are tired and I can't stitch. So my plan is to formalize some 2023 plans over the next week. I'm going to start going through all my kitted projects and deciding what it is that I really think that I will stitch, and those that I don't, I will either give away or make them a giveaway at some point on my floss tube. It's been a long time in coming doing this floss tube. I think that it'll help be accountable for things that I do or don't do, and having content to bring up. I'm hoping that'll be every week. And then we can see where it goes. I have no haul today. I haven't purchased. The only thing I've purchased is a pair of scissors. Nothing fancy. And so I plan on working in my room here and getting it finished. You can't see the floor where the mess is, but it's there, trust me. And the one thing I should point out is this is the pandemic sampler that was the free giveaway. I finished that down in Florida, I believe, or shortly after I moved home. My daughter framed it for me, so it sits there on my ironing station right now. It most likely will go up on that shelf with some oil lamps. My husband and I used to go to auctions all the time, and I have bins of oil lamps that he purchased, and I'm gonna just save the special ones and put some up there. And hopefully by the time I do another floss tube, this room will be complete and I can do a tour. So thank you very much for listening. I hope if you enjoyed this video that you hit subscribe and like and come back to see me next week. Have a great new year. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Thank you.